Welcome to the Corinna Astor Alchemy community. I'm Corinna Astor. Thank you for coming back, or welcome if this is your first time. And I also wanted to just share a little bit about something that I have talked about before, but it's been a little while. And I talk with trees, and this was something that I felt really weird sharing with other people initially because it's a very um, private thing, I guess, that as just the kind of person that I am, I don't really feel like sometimes sharing my spirituality in certain respects. And I feel that I used to have, it may be even an egotistical way of feeling like if I talk about it, then it diminishes the experience. But I have since changed my mind about that, and I've been learning and growing that it's not egotistical for me to share because really one of the things that I love teaching and sharing is helping people to create more of that inner vision ability, that intuitive, that psychic ability that we all have and that we all can grow. And so you can communicate with trees, you can communicate with flowers, rocks, plants, animals, all of the things. And some of us have a stronger connection with other things. And that's just part of our makeup and or, desire. Sometimes we just feel more of a kinship with animals or whatever it may be. I have always been very connected to nature and feel very blessed that I grew up doing a lot of camping and spending a lot of time outdoors as a child as well, before the age of the internet. And we spent lots of time climbing trees and just being in the backyard playing, my sisters and my brothers and I. So, anyway, I want to just share a little bit about how I led this vision quest this last weekend because I had a really powerful and profound message from the trees, and it was extremely special. And I also want to share or explain a little bit about a vision quest because some people may not be familiar. So, vision questing is something that we often do in nature. You can do a vision quest actually in your home. You could completely turn off Wi-Fi and just have a very secluded inner space in an indoor area. But I prefer the outdoors when possible, and so I lead them and do them during the warmer months of the year from May to September, sometimes a little before or beyond, depending. But uh, anyway, so this is again something that you do in seclusion, and so you are trying to do it in a place where you're not going to be bothered by anybody. Again, I recommend in nature because we really, again, want to be away from any distractions. We want to be away from people. We want to be away from Wi-Fi. We want to be away from technology, and we really just want to be able to have access to our inner guidance, to source, to nature, because again, it is always talking to us in whatever ways that it may do for you, even if you don't think that you're getting that many messages yet. And again, this is something that I share on retreats that I teach people to do shamanic work with communicating with trees, and I also do some half day retreats, so keep an eye out for that as well. But um, so I was actually leading a vision quest this last weekend, which means that I was holding space for others to participate in doing their own vision quest. And so the other part that I didn't mention about a vision quest is that you are going into silence and you are fasting typically, if you're able to. And so you're just drinking water, you're not eating. And this is kind of helpful to put you in a sort of more trance-like state and to, again, receive more answers. They can come through their dream time. They can come through animals that may show up, insects, thoughts that enter your head, all the different ways that you may get guidance. And so this particular, me leading this vision quest, I was, of course, eating and in a area nearby. And but even though I was eating so that I would, be able to hold space for someone else and to be available in case of an emergency, I felt guided to really almost do a vision quest, sort of, not to the full extent, but in the regards of not reading books, not just spending my hours journaling or writing or working on anything, heavy mentally. And so as I was guided with that, I did kind of like what I teach my clients to do, and sat a lot in silence and facing different directions, and really just seeing what was coming through. But I did have some really amazing communication with trees. And one of the things that I'm going to share with you is also something that I have felt nervous about sharing with people, but also there was a very strong message from the deer that came to me, and to another participant on this journey. And so the deer represents gentleness, and it is about loving something so much that you don't have to have that fear. And so I am going to share something that some people may not possibly resonate with. And as always, I've said it before in other videos, if anything I say doesn't resonate with you, then leave it and move on, and take what you like. So but something that I have known about for many years and that I feel very strongly about are the chemtrails that are impacting us in our world today. And this has been in my awareness since, I would say, at least 2014. I started learning about it, and I'm not going to go into all of that right now. You can definitely do your own research, and maybe you already know about them, but cloud seeding is another name for this, and it's weather modification, and they are using different chemicals to spray in the air, and there's a lot of scientific evidence, and this is, I think, very widely known. So I don't feel like it's really up for debate, but some people don't believe in it, and that's okay. But it's something that I have actually experienced now twice during Vision Quest. And so, where I was impacted actually by chemtrails. So, a couple years ago, I actually tried to do a Vision Quest, and it was in an area in the Owyhees. And for those of you in Idaho, that's the mountain range south of Boise, one of them. Anyway, a big swath of area really is when we refer to the Owyhees, it's quite a large area. So anyway, in more of the desert, and very remote. And anyway, I was out there on my own, like I said, doing a vision quest. And very shortly after I got out there, or maybe as before, they had started to do a lot of chemtrails. It was so bad that I literally was having like what was like an allergic reaction. And, if I maybe didn't know about chemtrails, I would have thought that I had an allergy, but I don't have sage allergies. I don't have an allergy to anything in the desert. So I've been out there at other times this time of year and had no issues. And I think I'd even been there like 2 weeks prior, no issues again. So anyway, but saw these massive amounts of chemtrails coming down over all day long, and to the extent that by the end of the day, my eyes were swelling shut. I was sneezing constantly. Just my eyes were watering. It was really, really intense. And then the next morning, I woke up, and the chemtrails were continuing once again, and I was continuing to have the same symptoms. It was extremely severe. I've also never experienced any severe allergies like this ever in my life, and um, it's just not something I've ever dealt with. And for the small amount of allergies that I do have, I take different remedies. And anyway, so this was something where I literally had to abort mission. It was very upsetting to me to have to leave my vision quest. And I think as someone that is going to be leading Vision Quest, at that time I had not started that, but I think I had to have that experience to know that sometimes, an illness or something can come up, and we sometimes have to leave. And so, anyway, it was definitely very sad and challenging to have to leave that situation because of, not wanting to end something that I was very set out to do, determined to do. I had done other vision quests before and successfully. And so this was very disappointing. And it wasn't like I could just go drive to some other part of the state. I was, very far away from other areas and just had to return home. So, and of course, mostly, I mean, I was, of course, upset about having to abort mission, like I said. And I was also extremely upset about the fact that this amount of poison is, going over this area. And I just, again, there's a lot of science behind this, know that the different properties in that aluminum and the other metals that are being sprayed out actually cause, the increase in the fires burning more hotly, and this is why we've had such a problem with wildfires over the last couple decades. And so it's very, very sad to me as somebody who is deeply connected to nature, to Mother Gaia, and has a deep calling to feel a need to protect her. And so here I am once again, leading a vision quest this time. And we did have chemtrails again for an entire day. It wasn't as thick and bad as it was in that previous time before, but by the um, end of that day, I was having a reaction. My eyes were completely swollen, not completely swollen, but very swollen, watering again, just sneezing constantly. I was pretty miserable, could barely, breathe. I felt like, I mean, definitely couldn't breathe out my nose anymore. Anyway, the point being that I was very upset and concerned once again about the trees, about all of the creatures, there in the forest. And I feel very helpless and about this situation with the chemtrails. I feel that I don't know what I can do. And so I was praying about it. I was praying really hard and asking for guidance. And that's why I'm sharing about this, because it is something that's very dear to my heart. And it is very much on my heart mind of weekly, if not, I mean, any day that there are chemtrails, I am thinking about it. And unfortunately, there's almost not a week that goes by that we don't have at least a day or two of that. Sometimes we get a couple weeks without. Uh, and it's always often going on up in the northern. I spend a lot of time in Loman and around that area because we have a family cabin up there, and it's constantly going on there. So it's again just all over the state of Idaho. It's very upsetting to me. So I just feel that strongly that I need to share with other people that I had a really profound message from the trees about this after I was praying. So what happened was I was just walking near the campsite where I was at, and I was just gazing at all these trees. And after I'd been praying, and as I was looking at the trees, I started to notice that they were looking back at me. And not only and I just really was looking at each one with such beauty and admiration and love. And because that's what I do when I look at trees, like they're so amazing to me. And I just feel incredibly connected and joyful at seeing trees. They just exude love, I guess. I don't know how else to explain it, and beauty. And as I was having this um awareness, I was realizing that the trees were looking back at me and that they were actually admiring me just as much as I was admiring them. And it was very shocking to me. And in fact, I kind of felt a little bit like, okay, I'm here in the mountains in the woods, like all by myself, pretty much. I mean, this other person is in their vision quest. I'm nearby. But, I'm, trying to be all alone. And I just kind of felt like exposed, like all of a sudden, like I'm being watched when I wanted to be left alone, right? It was almost even a little how I felt, which was kind of funny because, of course I love trees. So, but it was just kind of like, oh my gosh. And that even each one of these trees was and has such a unique personality that they're just like a person. And so it was just amazing to have this really huge realization that, maybe some of you have had, and if you haven't, you probably can or will someday if you choose to. And so this was very special and beautiful. And Um, and of course, I was asking them, what can I do to help you? And it was like I mean, I just had this mountain behind me. And so there was trees, and then there was rows of trees behind it. There was rows of trees, and so forth, like up the mountain behind. And so there was an immense amount of trees in the forest that I was looking at. And literally they were just like all saying that they stand with me and that they support me in doing whatever I can do to help. And so really, along with that message from the deer that came through camp, and that message of gentleness, I know that it's just with that warmth and caring and the love that I always am trying to give, and that I will continue to, that we're going to shift this. And so I really invite you to do whatever you feel like you can do to, maybe pray for this situation. There is also a petition to end the chemtrails here in Idaho. I'm going to put a link to that below. So please sign that if you do feel inclined, and share that with others. We can have a prayer group. We can, yeah, just keep finding ways to shift this in a very positive and loving way and a gentle way. So, also, one of the other things that, as I was facing the different directions, the facing the north is coming to wisdom, and so it's really bringing all of this uh, gathering of knowledge, and all of the accumulation of what you started in the east, of a new beginning, what you've started, and then what you've used in the south to, try through trial and error and through making mistakes, and then in the West, we bring things more into fruition, and we're bringing things to light. And then it's kind of coming full circle when we see something in the North. And one of the things that I do feel like I'm here to embrace and embody, and that I really try to do is to be a community leader, and to be a community connector and pollinator, I like to refer myself as. And the bee is a very amazing and gorgeous, especially the bumblebee, is just so amazing to me, and I love that symbol. And so I did see this enormous bumblebee in the north as I was sitting at one point during that day, and I just felt again that that was symbolizing and sharing and showing me to continue to be that community leader. And so again, I just want you to know that the trees and all of nature is also listening to you. I do help people again get more in touch with getting into their intuition and their psychic abilities through breathwork yoga and other ways too. So let's connect if you want to learn more. If you want to do any shamanic work, if you want to do more vision quests, I have 2 coming up this year. If you're listening to this in the near future, we'll have one I will be leading to August 30th through September 1st. So we always leave on a Friday morning. We return Sunday afternoon, or early evening. And then the next one will be that very last weekend of September. I believe it's the 28th through the 30th. So I would love to have you. I'd love to support you in finding some inner answers. So I don't know that I really explained that, but it's vision quests are for finding an answer within you, and for, yeah, getting guidance. And obviously I had a burning question, and I just had streams of tears of joy with the trees communicating with me that day. And it was truly profound, and it really is so amazing how when we pray and we ask, and I asked my guides and ancestors and higher self and source, for help with this. And I was given that answer within an hour or two. And I've talked to clients about this before, and they've also had similar very profound experiences. So you can always pray and get that support and guidance and answers too. So just know that it is there for you. And I wish you many blessings on this day. And let me know in a comment below what you learned from this, or what your thoughts are. I would love to hear about any profound prayers that have been answered for you. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Make sure you like this video, share it with a friend. I very much look forward to talking with you soon, more on messages from the trees, more on Chinese astrology, more on Chinese medicine, more on all the ways to heal with holistic health. And I am wishing you a beautiful day. And I also have another big announcement coming soon too. So, but stay tuned for that. And again, thank you for your presence, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.